All right, we are live. Week 3 in the book. Sunny days in Detroit. Lions go on the road. They win in Baltimore, 38-30. With we could call it belt to ass. You knock off a team like Baltimore, and that's what you could call it, belt to ass, when it looked the way it did. Ending final score was, like I said, 38-30. So in the end, technically a one-score game, but really from I almost want to say kind of the start of the second half. You just felt like it was going to be. I don't know how to word this properly without. I don't know how to word this properly. Basically, it almost felt like it was an uphill battle for Baltimore. Like the whole time the Lions, second half on, the Lions were in control of this game. They dictated the pace of the game. They dictated how things were going to go, and it was Baltimore that had to get into a track meet and play catch up. And a lot of reasons behind this. First big one. I think the most pivotal part of this game, beyond the fact of the Baltimore offensive line didn't look good and Lions were pressuring it. It was the Derrick Henry sack. The Derrick Henry fumble. That was really, I think, what put this game away. I think if you're a Baltimore fan, that's where you lose hope. That's where you get frustrated. Just start to finish, the Lions were just in control of this game. The interior of the offensive line looked, from week 1 to week 3, like a completely different group. Tate Ratledge, I forgot his PFF score. I want to say it was high 80s. I think he scored like an 85 and 86 in this game. He looked phenomenal. He was the first thing on my note sheet here. Graham Glasgow definitely looked better. Mahogany, outside of, might have been a holding or a face mask penalty, he looked good. I mean, this whole unit did what you need them to do. And for the most part, both quarterbacks essentially played mistake-free here. Neither one of them threw a pick. Neither one of them fumbled. Lamar had a great day statistically. Threw for 3 touchdowns. I don't know how many yards. I want to say he rushed for a good amount in this game. Let's go to Baltimore here. Yeah, 7 for 35, so he averaged 5 a carry. 21 for 27, 288. He got sacked 7 times. And I think from a Baltimore standpoint, a little's on him there. A lot of it's on his O-line. I mean, I saw a lot of people coming after Lamar hard. I guess you could kill him for hanging onto the ball for a little too long, but he's looking for guys to be open downfield. When you get into a track meet with Detroit, and that defense is really doing a good job of bend but don't break, you're kind of forced to push the ball down the field. And the dipping and dunking is going to maybe get you the first downs, but it's not going to get you there. And I really don't blame Lamar for doing what he did. I think Lamar did everything he could. I think honestly, just the Lions came into this game ready to go. Baltimore looked a little sluggish. I think they were a little stunned. I think you kind of saw it in Lamar's face in the fourth quarter, and that this was not what he expected. I think kind of maybe some thoughts around the league were that the week 2 win against Chicago was more of Chicago sucking than it was Detroit going back to what they were last year. And I think this win on Monday Night Football it doesn't solidify it, right? Because it's week 3, it's September. There is plenty of season left for things to change, for guys to get hurt. But I think right here, right now, where we stand, I think you feel really good about Detroit. You feel pretty good about them contending with the Eagles and the Packers. And I think you could kind of from where we stand right now, it's Dan Campbell's team, right? I mean, there was a lot of talk this offseason about what's Jared Goff going to look like without Ben Johnson? What's this defense going to look like without Aaron Glenn? And they are more than picking up where they left off. And it's just I think it's a testament to Dan Campbell. And it's not that either one of those guys aren't any good. It's not that either one of those guys aren't going to have success at their next stop. But I think things are clear that this is Dan's program. This is what he's built, and everybody else is a part of the program, but they are not the program. I mean, Jared. That's where we'll start today. We'll start with the offense. I'm going to get into the defense a little bit because I don't think 30 points tells the full story of this defense. I think it's a lot more than that. Some good. I mean, a lot of good, some bad. But let's get into the obvious. Let's get into the non-controversial, and that's the offense. The offense. Jared Goff, 20 for 28, 202 yards, 1 touchdown. Unselfish, right? Unselfish. I mean, if you read that stat line out to anybody, it's not impressive. It's really not impressive statistically. Dan Campbell today was talking about a lot of what Jared does pre-snap and with his audibles and reading the defense and all that stuff. I'm not really going to get much into that here tonight, but Jared did a great job commanding this offense. Took the shots he had to take, checked down when he had to check down, and ultimately the whole story of this game offensively for the Lions should really be told in the run game. David Montgomery, 12 rushes for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 22 rushes, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. The creativity was there. Amon-Ra pitching the ball out and to Gibbs for that touchdown. I mean, they were 3 for 3 on 4th down offensively. That's incredible. And it just seems like someone had pointed this out today on the Pride of Detroit podcast, in that it seems like anytime there is a trick play or something that clearly takes some practice to run, and it seems like one way or another, Amon-Ra St. Brown is involved with that play. Whether he's throwing the ball, whether he's pitching it to someone, whether he's tossing it back on a hook and ladder. And it was actually Ryan Matthews that said this, that it's because they trust him. They trust him completely. And I think that couldn't be more true. Amon-Ra is not Calvin Johnson. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not Larry Fitz. He's not going to overpower and dominate you with his size, but he's just going to continuously outwork you. He's going to find his ways to get open. He's going to find his ways to shove guys. He's going to block in the run game. Jameson Williams did a lot as well. So, Amon-Ra is just going to find his way to get to the ball or be involved with getting somebody else the ball. And he's becoming, I mean, outside of Penei Sewell and I don't know, maybe Jared Goff, he's becoming the most important guy on this offense, maybe the most important guy on this team. He's the catalyst for this offense. He is he's moving the chains. He's dependable. I mean, I can't say enough good things about this guy. I mean, we saw it a couple times in week 2. They ran the ball out of shotgun to him. A couple times this year, they've been lining him up in the backfield as a halfback, which I think is awesome. Another really, really cool thing we saw out of Johnny Moore, I mean, a Ben Johnson criticism for 4 years was that we didn't see, or rather for 2 years, we didn't see Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery on the field at the same time enough. We could probably count on one hand how many times we saw that in those 2 years. And we must have seen it 4 or 5 times Monday night. I mean, they came out in a Maryland formation three guys behind the quarterback, and they ran every time they came out in that formation. It was a different play, and you had no idea who was getting the ball. You had no idea if it was a run or pass. You had no idea if it was a pitch or a handoff or a toss. I mean, you had no clue. So that type of stuff, and it wasn't the Ben Johnson cute trick plays, the flea flickers. As exciting as that backyard football stuff is, this was just more all of your playmakers on the field at once in probably a more typical like power running set, but not necessarily a power run every time. And that's the most like mind-bending thing, I think, for a defense where you know that guy in Montgomery is going to overpower you if they give it to him. Gibbs could cook you off to the side. I mean, I think Laporta lined up in between them. So it's just there was so much that we saw offensively that was really impressive Monday night. And just at no point was there any, I guess, concern would be the word. There was just so much conviction and confidence in every single play they ran. That was just what was so impressive. It seemed like everything they wanted to do worked. I mean, they had those two or three drives off turnovers that stalled out. But other than that, I mean, it was a freight train that just didn't want to stop. And this is exactly what we want to see. I mean, we knew going into Baltimore we were going to give up points. Lamar Jackson's a two-time MVP. Derrick Henry is maybe the best running back of my generation. So maybe him or Adrian Peterson. But the point is they've got studs there. They've got a great coaching staff. They're one of the best programs historically, right, in the NFL or of the past 30 years. You knew that was going to be a dogfight. You knew that they were going to throw points up on the board. And the defense just needed to make a handful of stops, and they did. Getting into the defense here. There's good, there's bad. Let's get into the good. Let's get into the positive. Overall, as a defense, 7 sacks, 30 QB pressures. Lamar was running for his life. It's I mean, for as long as I feel like I've been a Lions fan, we've never been able to contain the mobile quarterback. Never. Whoever it was always running all over us. And they were able to contain Lamar. They didn't over-pursue. They didn't try to have a highlight reel tackle on him. They didn't try to get him with a blow-up shot. They played the most fundamentally sound in from a tackling standpoint that I've ever seen. Everyone stayed home. Everyone from Trevor Nowatzki to Jack Campbell to Aiden coming off the edge. No one over-pursued Lamar. That's where Lamar gets you. You look at all the Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick and Cam Newton highlight film, and it's always these defensive linemen and linebackers that are diving and grabbing and just doing what they can to get one hand on the guy, right? Because in their mind, that's what's going to slow him down. And in the end, the very best thing you could do is get in front of a guy like that, chop your feet, and let somebody else get him. Almost distract the ball carrier with yourself and let the next guy eat. And that's what this defense did. Al-Qadim Muhammad, 2.5 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Jack Campbell with probably the game of his life. 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Somebody else I want to say, no, that was the 2 fumbles. I believe DJ Reed had a fumble recovery off Lamar on that 4th and 5. This is exactly what you want to see. I mean, this specific game plan may not beat everyone mobile QB wise, right? But like, if you're at some point playing against Josh Allen again this year, and that would be in the Super Bowl, like this is the way you attack a guy like that. this is the way you pursue a guy like that. And I honestly, as a fan, couldn't be prouder of that defense yesterday, Monday. It wasn't all perfect. Terrion Arnold, bad first half, followed up with a great second half. The guy got beat, on that DeAndre Hopkins little route into the end zone. And that's a veteran wide receiver at one point in his career, an elite wide receiver, taking advantage of second year kid. Are the expectations higher for Terrion Arnold? Yes, they are. Should he be in a better kind of point in his career than he is now? Should he be letting up this many yards every week? Always getting these penalties and by the way, that Brian Branch personal foul was ridiculous. The guy's going in for a tackle. I believe it was I don't know if it was unnecessary roughness. I don't know what they called him with, illegal contact. He's tackling a running back. I mean, like I don't know what different, or rather, he wasn't even tackling. I believe he was shedding a blocker to get to Derrick Henry. I mean, I don't know what else the guy can do. Lower man wins. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're trained to do. That's Pop Warner football. From the minute you put on a pair of pads at whatever age you start playing tackle. So I think at this point the refs are looking for him. He's going to be one of those guys that just gets fined every week. And for the most part, I mean, he kept his composure. Didn't throw a helmet off to the side, didn't flip off the crowd. So I can't complain with anything, really. Mark Andrews caught a ball over him, took advantage. Mark Andrews had 2 touchdowns in this game. Mark Andrews is a great player. A guy like that's, double significantly heavier and taller than you. Yes, sometimes those guys win because of their size. And doesn't matter how athletic or fast you are, you're not going to beat a guy like that sometimes. And that's okay. That's what's expected. I think what we wanted to see defensively was keep the offense in this game, slow them down, get a handful of stops. And that's what they did. And actually, Lamar really lucked out there because Brian Branch at some point in the third dropped an absolute interception in the red zone there. So, but going back to Terrion Arnold, people are on this guy's case. We had higher expectations than this. Alabama corner, coming out of the SEC, right, especially as a first-round pick, you expect more out of a guy like this. It hasn't been great, and I don't think any of us see the guy that the media and the coaches were raving about this preseason. All that being said, I don't think it's this total disaster that people are wording it as. I don't think it's – I mean, this guy's getting like Eric Ebron treatment, and I think that's a little ridiculous, right? He's not starting fights with the fans, first of all. He's not going on Twitter complaining about fans. It's really hard to play corner. It's really difficult. It is probably the hardest physical position to play in the NFL. The rules are against you as a corner. He was used to being chippy, playing physical, and probably getting away with shit in college. And when you're in the NFL, you're not going to get away with those things. And you're going to get called for the PI. You're going to get called for hands to the face, defensive holding. And especially now, they've thrown that flag on you so much that you are a target, right? When the referees see number 6, they are. It's probably a good idea that you change your number from last year because they are looking for you. And we just want to see, you want to see the progress, and we're kind of seeing it. It's ugly. It's not very pretty. But I'm kind of taking it game by game with Terrion. And at least in this game, like I said, first half wasn't good. Second half, you didn't hear his name called. You didn't see much. I want to say he gave up like 37 No, I think it was less. Something in the 30s in terms of yards in the second half. Against the Ravens, I'll take that. So we want to see the progression week after week, and he's definitely physical. He's a guy that wants contact. He's trying to play in the run game here. He is tackling. I mean, he's doing a lot of these little things right. It's very tough to cover in this league. And not for nothing, they're asking him to play man quite a bit. He played a good amount of zone in this game, but they're asking him to play, man coverage one-on-one quite a bit. And that's hard. That's really hard when you're alone on that island. And receivers running downfield, and it's tough. So, I think winning helps, right? When you're winning in spite some of this play, and I think it definitely hurts him in a way, playing alongside. Like, it helps him, but it helps him to play next to Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, right? Like, those are two All Pros, or Pro Bowler and an All Pro. I mean, yes, it's good playing next to those guys because those guys can help elevate you. But when those guys are playing at such a high level and you look subpar, it definitely it hurts the image, right? It really makes that bad play pop even more on the screen. And so you would hope, playing a team like Cleveland this week that doesn't have a great passing game, that doesn't have a great quarterback. I should knock on wood here as I say that. You would hope that you see a bounce back game. You'd hope that you see some progression. And this is a guy I would like to see come December play a little more, be a little more competent, right? Because we don't know what the secondary is going to look like next year. I mean, DJ Reed was signed to a 1-year contract. There's going to be other guys that you have to re-sign. Aiden Hutchinson, Sam Laporta. So I don't know that we could extend DJ Reed. I don't know that that's in the plans for this team. So they are really counting on Terrion to figure it out and become the number one corner here. And time will tell for a guy like that. But overall, great team win. Probably second or third best regular season win we've seen in the Dan Campbell era. Really impressive. They came out ready to go. You want to see the same from them this weekend playing Cleveland. I want to say they're playing the Browns in Detroit. Let's see here. They are in Detroit. 9.5-point favorite right now against the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns helped us out last week, taking out the Packers, making them look just a little more human. So that was a good thing. But overall, great things. Now the kind of the wow factor from Monday has worn off. That now it's Wednesday night, and we do have the 24-hour rule, right? Whether win or lose, 24 hours, you got to forget about it. And I'm kind of already mentally thinking about Cleveland. So not as much enthusiasm in today's show as I would have liked, but that's what doing these at the end of the day after working and hanging out with the baby will do to you. Joe Flacco's coming in here. He's got 631 yards in the season, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. So obviously you're not getting the best play at quarterback. You'd like to see this team continue to do what they're doing defensively. And, you're playing in front of the home crowd. You got to put up a bunch of points. You can't leave any doubts here. If you're Detroit, keep this train rolling. You've got Cincinnati after that, the Chiefs. Then you got a bye week. So the schedule after the bye week becomes a little more difficult. And these wins in September are important. I mean, if the Lions can come out of September 3-1, that really does help them set up for the rest of the season. And even if the Packers win this week, you're both at 3-1. Like, it's a very good place to be. Games in September matter as much as games played in December and January. And yes, you got to win down the stretch, but it's so important to win these games when you don't really have a good read on what everyone looks like, what everyone can do. There's not a lot of tape to watch because everything changes year to year in this league. There is so much turnover. So as I said, coming out of September 3-1, that's what you want. And that's what the Lions are going for here. And let's see what Sunday looks like. We will be doing the football show, I want to say Saturday afternoon. That is the tentative plan now, but stay tuned to the socials. We always tweet out before we go live, and you're always able to go and watch them on YouTube after. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you Saturday afternoon.